What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. This is your boy Narik Chasing. In this video, we're going to be reviewing Tales from the Hood 2. Now, Tales from the Hood 2 is the sequel to the 1990s Tales from the Hood, which is a freaking awesome horror anthology. And it essentially picks up that same mantle as a actually 5 segment horror anthology. I was really disappointed with this movie. The original film, it had important themes that faced the African American community, and it managed to tell these in a very subtle and very interesting way, especially incorporating the horror elements. And this is something you really don't see in cinema all that much. Basically horror in the hood, and it done well. And the first movie did manage to establish that. Unfortunately, in this film, takes that concept and just goes way over the top with it. Now, out of the 4 segments, I can honestly say that maybe 2 of them were more interesting than the other 2, and specifically one being probably the best one out of the bunch. And I think that's a plus for the film, but ultimately it does come off as pretty preachy. Not only is it really preachy about the message that each one of the films sends, except for maybe this one segment with the date rape that they were planning to do. That segment was probably the best one, but the rest of them are just really preachy, and they're overreaching with the concepts too, and it's just like, oh my gosh, they're trying to hammer down the message of the films in these movies, and it's just freaking ridiculous. They're pretty interesting stories, but they're kind of cliche, they're kind of predictable at certain moments, and I wish that they could have worked them out a bit better, especially the first 2, which could have been done a hell of a lot better. And I'm glad they actually did a couple of throwbacks to the original film as well. So there is that for those. The performances are decent. The most standout is Keith David, and even though there are some moments where Keith David is phoning it in, I like the fact that you can see he's having fun with the role. But pretty much everyone else you really don't know. There is this guy that looks kind of like Morgan Freeman in the movie, and he kind of sounds like Morgan Freeman in the movie. And I don't know if they were trying to emulate Morgan Freeman in the movie, but he kind of comes off as a rip-off version of Morgan Freeman in the movie. But in terms of the characters as well, of course, the characters are just really stupid. They're unlikable. They have that weird modern day pseudo millennial feel to them, where there's just one segment where these 2 girls are talking about this cup, and they're laughing about the cup, and I'm like, I don't really see the humor in them laughing about this cup because it's not really relevant. But of course, it's actually got a good production value behind it. The decent. It looks decent. It sounds decent. Unfortunately, the worst part of this film is the writing. Not only does the writing just ultimately just come off as totally preachy with the message, but the dialogue, the character choices, the actions, and are just terrible, just ultimately terrible in this film. And look, I understand there's a certain dialect and a certain way that things are kind of presented in the hood, but you could ultimately come off with that, but have it written better. And this movie just comes off as just freaking weird. Especially the first segment. Like, I don't know what the hell they were going with that one. That was definitely the weirdest one. But I don't know what to say about this movie. I just wish it could have been a better movie. It feels like instead of them just telling a good story, they were just trying to cater to a new generation and try to force this message, because that's what they did. They practically forced the message of the film down your throat. And not only that, they just keep just ramming it in there. And it's like, we get it. Let's go with a good story. So ultimately, this movie was a really big disappointment. I love Keith David, and I did like him in the movie. I did like the message, but I felt that they was just way overblown, just way preachy about how they were going about doing it. Really, most of the segments were not good. The third one was probably the best one. It was probably it was the most interesting one, and it felt like, even though they did have a message behind it, that it wasn't overreaching. and it wasn't just all in your face about it. So in the end, Tales from the Hood 2 is probably one of the worst movies I've seen this year, and probably one of the worst anthologies I've seen. There's really not a lot to go on here. It's an interesting concept, but it's just terrible in execution. I'll say that Tales from the Hood deserves a 2 out of 5. Probably if I hadn't liked the third segment, some of the fourth segment, I probably would have gave this a 1. Plus, I like Keith David too, so I had to bump it up to a 2. Guys, in the comment section below, let me know your thoughts about Tales from the Hood 2. Which one do you like more, the first one or the second one? And also, which one of the segments was your favorite and which one was your least favorite? Be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what's going on this channel. And we'll catch you guys later.